Hello and welcome again to my channel for another tutorial video. In this one I'm gonna talk about Podolski, which you can see there here on the screen. What is Podolski? It's a very simple synth plugin from UHE. It's free and I really like it. You might wonder why do you like Podolski? I mean, you talk to us about Vital and comp filtering, and I really like complex synths. And why do I like this thing while it's very simple? Well, there's a bunch of reasons, and we're going to explore them. So, I keep saying it's simple. Let's say why I say it's simple. Because all you have is one oscillator, one filter, one envelope, one LFO per voice, plus one LFO global, okay, and a very powerful arpeggiator. And just two effects, delay and a chorus, which are really, the bare minimum somehow to say, hey, does have effects. Doesn't have reverb, doesn't have anything more than what you see here. So, what makes it interesting or somehow special? Well, you have one oscillator and one only, which might seem like a big limitation, and somehow, well, it is. There's very little to argue about it. But it's a very peculiar oscillator. What it does here, you have a sawtooth, but if you move this wave warp mod, it's like it's kind of like a wavetable oscillator with only one possible wavetable, because this can morph to be a triangle wave one way, and the other way can tighten up to become something akin to a spike wave. But that's not all you can do. The other thing you can do is control the volume of an inverted version of the same oscillator, which it brought to a certain point, makes the sound squarish. For some reason here, I have really no idea why. UHE's synths, when you initialize them, they start being one octave below, and I really don't know why. Anyway, you can get this squarish sound, but also you can control the phase of our oscillator copy, which, due to an interesting thing of constructive and destructive interference, gives us this effect, which you might not have a hard time understanding, is basically pulse width modulation. I can modulate this, let's say for LFO1, let's put it to something lower, like 1 bar, and let's remove this. Why am I removing this? Because there's the problem, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it's the way it is set up from the beginning, that unless you move the mod wheel, the LFO isn't acting, unless I get this thing down to 0, so the LFO will always be working. And so here I already have some pulse width modulation. It would be very simple, even having just one single oscillator. Maybe let's put some filtering, and let's modulate this too with the envelope, and longer attack. And you see, we already have, maybe I wanted this filter to be a little more closed and more envelope. And you see, from a single oscillator synth, we're already getting something which is kind of akin to a pulse with modulated pad. And if we add a little bit of chorus, it totally gets, I wouldn't say believable. Let's add some release so that it works, and it seems like we got something way bigger than what this little instrument is. There's a lot of other things you can do with it. I mean, it really, things that which it really excels. This is something you wouldn't expect a synth like this to do very well, but it actually does it effectively, as you might notice. One thing which it really does very, very nicely, in my opinion, is acid-like sounds. Because this filter, say, let's move it with our envelope and have it behave like a plucky envelope. This has a nice nicely sounding resonance, you will agree, and this nicely sounding distortion on the filter, which I really like. And also it has this bipolar auto FM, so it you can have this thing so that it will be modulated so that you can have this thing, you know, bipolarly, and you can have it on one side or the other. And this gets very interesting when you start to combine it with the arpeggiator, which is the most complex and deep thing in the whole synth, because really it isn't, let me get back to zero, I really don't like this thing. Let's say the arpeggiator here, it's the most complex thing in the synth. It's really, I'd say, disproportionate to the rest, because it's basically the same arpeggiator you find in Zebra. And it is polyphonic, so you can have in certain steps have it make more than one note at a time, and you can edit the gate length step by step, make it like this, or even make it continuous so that it won't even retrigger the note. So like, say for example, I'm gonna make some changes, just, you know, make some notes so that some notes are not exactly all the same note. I'm gonna keep having mostly the same note, because, you know, it's one of the things in this type of music, repetition legitimizes everything. No, I'm too slow. It's 1/4. I want it to be like 16th. But also, you can add another thing here, which is this ARP mod. This is a modulation source, and you can direct it to various parameters in the synth. Not so many parameters. I would love to be able to edit to modulate some things such as envelope segments, or this drive knob, or this auto FM knob, which I can't. But I have a second modulation for my filter, for example, and I say ARP modulator controlling my filter, and again ARP modulator controlling the wave warp, say. So I have a change in, and you can already have something kind of acid-like and kind of effective, you will agree. Like, and I just put some delay on it. And you can get a lot of things happening here. And you could also play with this thing, having, you know, and maybe, I don't know, add your something else like your mod wheel controlling this thing, so that you can morph around and have things change and transform and whatnot. And yes, this is something. Another thing you can do, among others, I mean, you can do most of the typical subtractive synthesis patches. One thing I really like done from this thing is this sort of, if I put keyboard following to 100%, and then I have wave warp to this point, and I have this is to 0. having this, you know, kind of slightly flutish thing, which with the filter auto FM and with the can become a lot of other things. If you put it like in legato and you get some glide on it, where's glide here? You can get quite an interesting lead. I mean, I find it interesting. Maybe you don't. It's kind of old school. There's very, very. And maybe you might, in this case, like this thing, or maybe you want to put the arpeggiator here to do the, not the arpeggiator, I meant, sorry, the aftertouch, the pressure to control this, and then use this LFO as a destination for your tune mod. And this is not, this is synced, but I unfortunately here, as you might notice, we have no way of controlling. But this, you know, is kind of interesting. Then you see the wave warp here. Say, for example, we might want this to be modulated by the mod wheel backwards, and at the same time, we might want the same mod wheel to control the filter too, so that isn't it a nice lead for being done with a thing this simple? Yeah. And you know why I like this synth? Because I'm done. I mean, maybe there's too much glide, you see what I mean, but at the same time, I can't do much more, and that in a lot of ways I think helps, because whenever I'm making a sound like in Zebra or in Vital, I find myself, hey, but I could add this little thing more. I could add this little thing more. Yeah, it's good, but it's not really perfect. Let me, and then I totally screw it up. There's too many times I have find myself saying, "Oh, yeah, I totally ruined it," and then since you know it's really easier in a lot of scenarios to just scrape it and go back from the beginning and get back from an initialized patch and repeat what you've been doing up to then instead of correcting your mistakes. I find, on the other hand, that this does nothing of the sort. I mean, this makes everything easy and easy, immediate, and you know, once you got a sound, there isn't much more you can do out of it except for, you know, get out of the synth and go crazy with post-processing. Maybe, you know, don't use this delay but some other delay, don't even use this chorus, and maybe you got some other crazy chorus and delay plugins that have like 4 times the CPU byte of Podolski, but they will do their thing and they will work. And so with this, I say goodbye and thank you for the attention. I hope you like this video. I'm gonna do more, keep doing other video tutorials about bunch of synths, things I use, even things I understand, and ideas on what to do with your instruments. And I hope you like them. And if you have ideas of things you might want me to discuss, if I can, I will. I mean, let me know here in the comments. Just tell me what you would like me to discuss, and I will, if I can. I mean, if I know the topic, because of course I'm not omniscient by far. But if I know the topic and I feel like I have something to say which the tube isn't already filled up with information about, I will tell you what I can. So again, after another stupid scale with this lead, which I really like, I will end up saving it. I made it here in front of you. It's very simple. And yep. So again, thanks for the attention, and if you like this video, put a like, subscribe, tell all your friends about me making these videos, and so that you can help me grow my fan base, grow the number of subscriptions, and so maybe eventually make the YouTube algorithm gods happy, and me too with them. Bye.